Hello, and welcome to Transformation Now. I'm Rita Rocker Craft with SoaringHigher.rocks, and I've been working the last few times on a program including my book, Shaping Your Future, Become the Brand That Everyone Wants. And as always, I always tie in the personal part of our lives with the professional because they all tie in together. Whatever happens in our personal life will affect our professional life. So I'm just continuing on here with some of the exercises and the information in the book. That's very helpful. We've been talking about perception, self-esteem, and self-image, and our communication skills, and all of that good stuff. So I'm going to go a little bit more, do a little bit review, and then a little bit more on the perception that we have of ourselves as well as what we are giving off to other people, because that's so important in building relationships, building them up, and building ourselves up. So think about the types of communication that you see in other people, and that really affects how we communicate. Do you see happiness, anger? Is somebody frustrated? Are they all excited? Are they very confident? Do they have low self-esteem? What do you see in other people? Because within the first 7 seconds, that will start creating an impression in your mind of what they're like and if you want to communicate with them further or not. And then we turn that around and realize that will affect how they see us by how we speak to them, what our body language is doing, what our facial expressions are doing. So think about those things and how that affects you. And then think, okay, so when they talk to me a certain way, how do I respond back to them? If they're upset with something, do I bite back? Or do I try to find out what's going on? Can I tell if something is hurting them? And so sometimes even when someone's angry, it's because they're actually hurting deep down inside. So am I watching their facial expressions? Am I watching what they're doing so that I can communicate with them? So how am I responding to them by what they are saying to me? That can make us or break us as far as friendships and business relationships go. So think about that and show that you are engaged in listening to them, no matter basically what it is that they're saying. So as I'd mentioned before, and I hope if you caught that program, you think about that, watch other people's reactions to not only you, but watch how they react to each other. When they're at work, when they're out having fun, whatever the case may be, listen to what people are saying to each other and then watch how they react, because you can learn so much of the things that we should do and the things that maybe we should change or avoid doing. So that's very, very interesting, seeing their behavior and seeing how they look, and that really creates quite a message about us and who we are as well. And like I said before, sometimes it's a good idea just to watch a TV program with the volume off for a few minutes and really, really, really study their body language. You can pick up so much about that, of the messages that you're giving off to other people, by if your body's open, if it's happy, if it's angry, etc. So, think about those as well. So also, do you feel like you fit in when you are with other people? Because sometimes maybe we're a little bit too self-conscious and we don't have much self-esteem, and so we put in our minds already that, oh, I'm not really going to fit in. A lot of that is just in here, and that's when we really want to show attention to other people, because that will help us open up to them and start a conversation. So you don't have to feel so self-conscious about that. And then just see, okay, what did I notice about them that was positive or negative? So your voice expressions are very important because, as I've said a few times, 55% of our communication skills is nonverbal, how we sit, stand, walk, what we're doing with our face and our body. And 38%, though, is the quality of our voice. So that expression, that pitch, and that tone of our voice can make an entire different meaning than maybe we meant just by sounding harsh because we had a bad morning at home, or sounding frustrated, or like, gosh, I can't really amount to anything. So think about those things, and those messages that are being given off in the impression that your voice is giving. And so how does your face feel? Does your face feel like it's actually demonstrating what's going on with your words? Because again, like I said, if somebody says something, oh, everything's fine, but you can see by their body language or their eyes that everything's not so fine, that's when you really want to show interest in them, extend the conversation, and find out what's going on there. That really makes a difference. So body language is very, very, very key. You know, are your shoulders back and positive? Do you have good eye contact? Things like that, the expression. Listen to your voice. When I've listened to my voice sometimes in the past, I realize, oh, it really didn't sound so professional, or it sounded like I was hurried or whatever, and people will pick up on that. And especially when we're answering with phone, we have to be careful of how we sound, because they can't see us unless it's the FaceTiming that people are doing nowadays. But a lot of time in business, that's not going to happen. They can't really see us, and so they're going to pick up what we're thinking of them, what we're thinking of ourselves and our companies by how we sound. And so you always want to think about that as well. And so you always want to look the part as well when you're communicating with people, when you're meeting people, when you're out. And even I tell people, if they are at an event, it's a company event, but it's a casual event, maybe it's a fun time, people will still make decisions about us according to what we're wearing. For women, if the clothes are too revealing, or if people look like they just got out of a canoe, they'll make a lot of impressions about us. So we always want to still be businesslike, even if we're doing something fun. Going to a child's baseball game, or you're going to run into other people, you know, they will make decisions according to what they're seeing and what they're hearing. So, you know, when you get up and you're getting ready to go out, always stand in front of a full-length mirror. What kind of impression, what kind of message are you giving out? Is it all put together? Is it organized? Or is it possibly like sloppy in the hair or the clothing? Because people, again, will make an impression right away when they see you. And you always want to give the best impression that you can. Another thing is clothes reflect our personality and our commitment to doing a good job. And again, women have to watch that more than men do. But always be careful of the message that you're projecting. Hairstyle and grooming also is important, because people will make judgments about us, even if that's like all wonky and crazy. So think about that. And then your voice. Watch other people. A good thing to do too is to mirror not only body language, but mirror the voice. So if someone is maybe strong and boisterous and loud, and maybe you're very quiet, then you're going to want to roll your shoulders back, and you're going to want to straighten up and stand tall, because you want to show them that you are on equal ground there. And so maybe you are the one that's, you know, a little bit louder, or you like to have fun, and you can tell this person is very shy. Then you want to think, okay, this person is very shy. I might be kind of coming on a little bit too strong. And then you may want to tone it down just a little bit. So you want to mirror somewhat body language as well as voice, so that you're kind of on the same level, although always confident. That's very, very important. So, you know, think about, well, is this strong? Is it weak? Is it caring? Is it something that is sarcastic? Am I really showing a lot of support for this person? They will feel that. We deal a lot more with emotions than a lot of times we think we do. Even the people who are very much in the analytical, strategic-minded area, that's just who they are. That's how they're programmed. But even then, if you think it's all business and it's all numbers, they still have feelings and they still have emotions. And I'll be talking later on in another program about presenting and talking to people. And that's one thing that we always want to watch, is how are they reacting? Because no matter how hardcore they are, they have feelings, and you're going to touch on some feelings when you're doing a presentation, or when you're talking to them about a company issue, or whatever the case may be. So watch for that too. If nothing else, watch it in their eyes, because the eyes will say quite a bit without actually verbally saying a thing. So think about communication skills that make you or break you. And think about how you are helping other people, what you provide for them. And that's very important. And you could say something like, I provide individuals who want to change careers and new thought patterns and communication skills with new techniques to greatly enhance their marketability. And then I would say, with soaringhigher.rocks, I'm Rita Rocker. So you can do something like that. And watch again your demeanor and watch their reaction when you first even introduce yourself. Sometimes it's hard with mingling too if you're very, very shy and get in there. And so always look for someone else who is possibly kind of lonely, standing up against a wall, what we used to call wallflower. And so, approach them and ask them questions about themselves, because then you don't have to feel like, well, gosh, I don't know what I'm going to say about me. Just ask them questions about them, and it will start a great conversation between the two of you. So what if you go to an event and you're not really sure what to wear? What are these people wearing? There's this commercial nowadays that's so funny, and it's a phone commercial, and this lady is talking to someone she works with, and she's saying something about, well, I don't know what to wear, and she says, oh, this is, a business, don't, just wear something real business-like, but it comes off like she's telling her it's a costume party. You've probably all seen that one. And so this lady's going, oh, cool. So she goes into a nice restaurant, and she goes to sit down with all these very professional people all wearing suits, and she has on an Elizabethan costume or something with a big horned hat. And so people are looking at her kind of funny because she thought it was a costume party. So when she's sitting down, she goes, does anybody want to share a turkey leg? And they're all giving her dirty looks, And so it's really funny, but sometimes we just want to make sure that we are dressed appropriately, because that speaks volumes too. And so like I've told people before, hey, if you're not really sure what people are wearing when they're going to a very nice event or a very casual event, take something else and put it in the car. Take something a little more dressy, even if it's just shoes or a shirt or a blouse, or take something a little more casual. And if you notice that other people are wearing things enough differently that you might want to change from what you're wearing, you have some things with you to either sneak into a bathroom, or if it's something you could just, like different shoes and a few things do in the car, then you can do that, so that when you walk in there, you'll feel a whole lot more comfortable talking with everyone else. So think about that. So take notice when you're into these kind of meetings. I went to a really good networking meeting last Friday. It's called the Empowerment Breakfast. It's in Omaha. And so any of you who might be wanting to get out and meet new people and promote your business, the Omaha Empowerment Breakfast is a great way to do it. And so you might think about that and start thinking, what are you noticing about people? Are they shy? What are you noticing? Are they overbearing? Sometimes, when people go around the table and they say, okay, just take maybe 1 to 2 minutes, tell a little bit about you, and let them go on to the next person. And then sometimes one person takes up almost the whole time, and the others don't get to introduce. So always listen, always watch what they're doing, and share those things of the values that you can provide for other people. And like I mentioned to them then, it's not all about us. So we don't just talk about ourselves so much, but we talk about how we can provide and what we can do for those people to enhance their lives or their businesses, or both. So think about that. And then branding yourself for success. Again, check your energy, because energy, we vibrate energy, and people will pick up on what we're thinking and what we're feeling by not saying a word, but just by the energy that we're giving off. They'll look at our hands. Are hands clenched? Are they open to them? What are our hands doing? Are they fidgeting, which shows that we're really nervous? So think about those things. Eye contact is critical. There are some countries where we have to be careful with eye contact, but in America, always give good eye contact with those that you're talking to. It shows that you're very engaged and very interested in them. Sometimes people will make statements, but they come off as questions, and when they end each sentence like it's a question mark, people will get the impression of, oh, you don't sound like you're really comfortable in what you're saying. So maybe you don't really have enough for me to listen to. So always, if you're making a statement, make a statement, drop your voice. If you're asking a question, then you raise it. But think about how you're sounding. Is it confident? Do you really sound like you're really into it and very knowledgeable about your product or service. So, motivating, positive, exciting, confident, worrisome, preoccupied, defiant, angry, fear, frustration, caring, excitement. And so think about those kinds of energies that you're giving off. Your perception of yourself, like I mentioned before, is the perception that will be shaped in other people's minds. And so always know that you are a confident, capable, awesome person. You're made in God's image. Can't be any better than that. And so think about that. And to ask yourself daily, it's a good question sometimes to get us motivated to maybe learn more, study more, get out more with other people, is to say, do I send out the message that I am the best person to serve them, to provide for them? Why would they think I'm the best? Why would they want to do business with me? And your answers to that are very, very important. So why would they want to do business with me? Think about that in ways that you can really draw people in because they know you care, they know you study, they know you have the experience. Something I'm pursuing is to do case studies for people. So what they can do is I find out everything about what their clients want, what kind of frustrations and problems their clients are having. And so then we work up a situation where I can work with the company, the person, the provider, and create one-sheet statements of testimonies of their clients. All the wonderful things that this product or this service has done for the clients. And then this person will be able to use that testimony to show other people, hey, if you want me to provide your service, you want to buy my products, this is what other people are saying about how I've helped them, and I can do the same thing to help you. So just think about that. It's all about them. We always want to know all about them and how we can provide for them. So in networking, you always want to relate to what you can give to that person. And a lot of times I think too, practice introducing yourself in front of the mirror. If you have somebody that could be kind of fun and yet be positive and role play with you, practicing how you introduce yourself to other people, they could also give you some ideas in what builds up your confidence so that you can do that, really positively and validate your experiences by telling people some examples that how you've helped others. And so I would recommend writing out 2 or 3 introductions that you can practice and learn so that you're comfortable and you don't have to stop and think about them. And it may be that you're working with different industries or different types of personalities, and so you may want to have an introduction catered more to one type of industry, but then you know that you're going to be out in business or networking where you're going to be talking about a different type of industry to a different type of person. So I would say, kind of practice 2 or 3 introductions. I remember once when I was doing a program at a community college, and they said it was like an all staff. This was everyone from the janitorial staff and custodial on up to the president of the college. They were all in this same room. And I'm going, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? Because there's such a big difference in what they do, where their interests lie. But I was able to do that by trying to speak in a way that would be comfortable for some people, but yet also show a lot of interest and value to the others. And so sometimes you might need to do that. And so think about different topics. You can also quite often add something that you did on a personal level that would apply to this hiring person, this president, whoever, apply to their life. Some examples could be a hobby or a passion that you have that this company buyer, this director of human resources or products, whatever, through conversations that they're also active in this. So you can take some personal things and apply them in a way that will build up a nice network, a nice connection with someone. So maybe a certain hobby you have, maybe you're really into sports or you played sports, and you know that this person that you're going to be talking to is a real sports fan, so you can interject some of that in there and build up an even more valuable relationship. You were athletic, you were creative, or you have technical ability, and that's what that person is really interested in, but you do technical help to people, maybe elderly people, or you go in and you do things like that. So if you're doing things for other people just as a help and not business, but it applies to the type of person you're talking to, bring that into the conversation too. Doesn't have to be all about strictly business as long as it applies to that type of business. Maybe you designed a boxcar for your son's race. How cool would that be to talk to someone who's into maybe building and creating and that type of thing? So you can add that in there and also build up more relationship. Maybe you went to school and did ballet, you were in a band, you were a singer, you created stage sets, and the people that you're talking to have an interest in that, or that's the type of business they have. So you can also insert that in there. Maybe you were excellent with fundraising and organizational skills, and it could be nothing to do with work, but it could have been through school, it could have been through an organization, a charity. Those are things that you also want to apply to the type of communication that maybe you're having with someone else. So they see you have broad experience, and they want that. They want you to bring in that type of creativity and that type of personality into their business, or to be their representative. And then, just practice real life stories. I think people love real life stories because they want to know firsthand. Like me personally, I love it when people have degrees and they have all the education, and that's very critical. But I also love to hear stories, hear things where a person has gone through something that applies to what's going on in the business world and how they came out of it on the other end. I'm working with a lady to do just some side work, and we started talking as we're texting back and forth on business things, and I made a comment to her. And so she started sharing with me just this morning about some grief she went through, and her daughter got killed in a car accident 2 years ago, and how she wrote, because I told her about my writing and the books, and she told me about a chapter that she wrote in a book. It was a chicken story about how she and her granddaughter started working through their grief process somehow through a chicken story. And so I'm just feeling us building up this beautiful relationship, started out as business, but then we both kind of shared our hearts and felt comfortable doing that, and now we know that there was a reason for that, for me to connect with her. So you just never know when somebody's going to come across your path that will be perfect and will help you open new doors just by sharing some things like that when it's appropriate. So think about that as well. And then just confident presentations, that's something that I'll be talking with you more about next time. But really, when we want to make a sale, because we are salespeople, we are a brand. Everyone is a brand. And it's a brand that shows confidence and professionalism and skill and everything that we want, or it shows a lack of those things. So everybody is a brand. So what kind of brand are we presenting to other people? And I'll talk about that a lot, but actually give you directions on how to present yourself. We can have presentation skills that we need to have with one person, 1,000 people, doesn't matter. So these will really definitely help there. Because our purpose when we meet people and we want them to take us up on our business, our service, whatever it is we have, we aren't meeting them just to close a sale. So we never want to try to just meet people like a networking event and try to close a sale right there. That's not the purpose of it. The purpose is to build enough interest up and enough camaraderie, communication skills that they go, yes, I would like to meet with you. And so then you set up a meeting. But you don't still want to go in there to close a sale, but to open a relationship with that person, just like I'm doing with this lady that I was just mentioning. And so your business can grow and you can maybe make new friends. I've made new friends it was for real estate deals and stuff like that. But it came together that you had a good connection. So it's not about closing a sale. It's about opening and building a relationship. And then they can also, in turn, because they trust you, they like you, they can connect you with other people who need what you have, want what you have, and then your circle of influence expands your business expands, and your bank account expands. So always think of those things and look at it that way. It's all about them. Let's build things up. Let's unite. And right now we need a lot of love in the world. We need to have a lot of unity. So think about unity. That's really, really critical. And then think about the emotions that you have and that are going out to other people and the energy. So I'll be talking with you more about that next week and actually what we do physically, giving you some techniques and some skills that you can work with next time. So thank you, and I will see you again.